Hey, what's up, everybody? For your fix of fitness, health, life, and laughs, you know where it's at. That's right, it's at the Poecast with your host, yours truly, Adam Pullman. You are listening to another episode of the Poecast. This is the show where all of your health, fitness, and nutrition questions are answered. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about discipline over motivation, why relying on self-discipline is far better than relying on motivation. So make sure you tune into this episode if you find yourself just not wanting to do much because you're not motivated. I'll give you some tips and things you can do to change that around so you can finally gain some traction and see some significant results from some diligence and some effort. So make sure you tune in to this episode for that. If you have a question that you want to have sent in, or that you want to send in, on this show to be answered by me, whether it's about your health, your fitness, some supplement you heard, nutrition, diets, really anything in that realm, you can send that question in or those questions in to Instagram. So my handle is Adam_PullmanFit. That's where you can find me. And every single Saturday, you'll see a question box in my story that says ask me anything or ask me a question, something along those lines. That's your green light to submit as many health, fitness, and nutrition questions as you would like. I'll answer them shortly there on the story and then in detail here on the show. That's what this show is all about. Just sitting down and having a personal trainer and a nutrition coach answer your own health, fitness, and nutrition questions. So that's how the show goes. So make sure you go to Instagram, find me there if you want to submit a question for the show. Now, if you're just getting plugged into Pullman Fitness, you want to find out more about what I do as a trainer, how I help people, I encourage you to join our private community on Facebook. This is a place where I sit down and do some live webinars, for the lack of a better word. We'll talk about certain topics, answer your guys' question, really give you helpful content that helps you improve your overall health, fitness, and nutrition. This is also a place where we share ideas, encourage each other, lift each other up, and just grow together. So if you want to be a part of that group, you want to get plugged into the community a little bit more, go ahead and find me on Instagram and send me a message and say that's me, or hey, I want to be a part of that group. Then I will send you a link to the Facebook group so you can request to join. So you got that part done, you're closer into the community. Now, if you want to get more involved, you want to see what else is going on with Pullman Fitness and what we do, we have a basic membership. These are self-guided training programs that you can do based on your specific goals, whether that's building your glutes, losing body fat, building muscle, feeling your glutes squeeze more, whatever it may be. We have a program for you, and you can find those programs to follow at pullmanfitness.com/basic-membership. Other than that, if you want to build a faster metabolism, we've got you covered there too. So let's say you're someone that's struggling with fat loss. You've lost it and you gain it all back and you keep repeating that vicious cycle. Or if you're someone that just hasn't had any success losing body fat, this is a step-by-step detailed book on how to use training and nutrition to improve your metabolic rate to make fat loss easier now and in the long run. It's also a great way to show your love and support for the show. That way I can continue doing what I love, like making episodes like this. So that is going to be at pullmanfitness.com/store. And lastly, if you want to get more free information, more valuable free resources, guides, articles, all that good stuff, go ahead and check out pullmanfitness.com/free. That's POEHLMANN fitness.com/free. All right, today's question is from Super Mama Fuentes, and the question is, what motivates you? So I'm not going to take the time to talk about what motivates me individually here on today's show. However, I do want to use the question to talk about what may motivate you and actually what you can do to be self-sufficient even when motivation isn't there. Because here's the thing. It is really easy to get something done, to complete tasks, to do something uncomfortable when you're motivated. It's pretty easy because you're motivated to do so. But the reality is we're not motivated to do things all the time. There are moments where I set a goal for business or for work or for life, and I feel really good about it for that day and the next day. And then the third day, I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't have set that goal because I don't feel like doing it. you know, you know how that works with health and fitness. I mean, look at a lot of people that join gyms in January, the beginning of every single year. It's like, oh, clean slate. I'm starting over. I feel really good about this thing. It's good for about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, starts to dwindle a little bit. About a month in, they're not going to the gym anymore. They're not taking care of themselves anymore. That's the issue. That's the issue with relying on motivation, with figuring out what motivates you, because it's a losing battle. You might figure out what motivates you, what pushes you, what drives you, but the reality is you're not going to have that feeling all the time. So it would be far more beneficial to figure out what allows you to succeed even when you don't feel like you want to do the things you need to do to succeed. What keeps you going? What keeps you doing the things that you need to be doing, even if you don't really feel super psyched up to do it? That's really the question. And what we're talking about here is self-discipline, or just diligence. But most people will just say just being disciplined. You get it done even if you don't want to. It's a big difference between motivation and discipline. With discipline, it gets done basically no matter what. So how do we get to that place? Now, first, I want to address this. There's nothing wrong with motivation whatsoever. It's good to utilize motivation when you have it. The only time you're gonna fall into some traps here is if you rely on it, if you continue to think that it's going to be the only thing to get you where you want to be. All right. So utilize the motivation when you have it. And if you create a goal that is based on that motivation, that's fine. But first, let's address that. Let's address the big goal that you're motivated for. Let's say I want to lose 20 pounds of body fat is that goal. You're super motivated to lose 20 pounds of body fat because let's say, come next spring, you're going on a spring break trip with your family or your friends or your significant other or whomever, and you want to look really good. You want to feel good. You want to be healthy. And you want to feel confident in the swimsuit, in the bikini, whatever it may be. Okay. So you're like, all right, next year, 2022, I'm going to go ahead and get as in shape as I can, or lose 20 pounds in this case, for that spring break trip. Now, you're setting this goal after you just came off of a spring break high. You just went on a spring break trip this year. You didn't feel good about how you felt in that swimsuit. You maybe were a little lethargic. You just didn't feel confident. And so you left that trip not wanting to go through that again. And now you're motivated. You're like, F it. I'm not living my life the way I used to. I'm going to make a change. The reality is, as I mentioned, that feeling that you have right now is going to die. It's going to die off. Whether it's a couple of days, a couple of weeks, or a couple of months, it's going to die off. And you're going to have to figure out how to keep doing what you said you were going to do even when it's not there. Okay, so creating that goal based on some motivation is fine. But what do we do to get that goal to be executed or fulfilled even when we're not motivated? What we need to do is break it into some smaller chunks, some things that are more discipline focused, some things that are basically more realistic. So let's just continue going with this 20-pound fat loss goal. You want to lose 20 pounds of body fat. Then you sit down and say, okay, what will that require of me? Well, right now I eat a lot of junk food. I eat a lot of fast food, so I probably need to change my nutrition. Okay. Or, well, I'm sedentary. I don't really have a history of working out. I should probably start exercising. So those are your two things. You got to change the way you eat. You got to change the way you exercise. All right. Now, then it would be, okay, within those two things, what exactly do I need to do? What exactly do I need to change? Let's say you get to resistance training. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym and do resistance training 3 times a week. And I am going to, let's say, I'm going to eat out and have fast food only once a week instead of 5 times a week. Let's just say that's the change that you make. Okay. The point is, you're taking that outcome-based goal of 20 pounds of body fat loss, and you're narrowing it down until you come to daily actions and behaviors that you can execute that require very little motivation. So you could get to that 20-pound goal. That's the big overarching goal. And as you narrow down more and more and more, you're going to get to a place, you might get to a place where your daily goals look like this. Drink half of my body weight in water. Eat a certain amount of grams of protein. Eat 2 servings of leafy greens each day. And then when I work out on my 3 workouts per week, I'm going to set 2 personal bests, meaning I'm going to lift more weight than I did last week in 2 different exercises or 2 different sets. I'm going to set 2 personal bests, whatever that may look like. Okay. So those are your daily actions and behaviors, because the thing is, those are 100% in your control, and they don't really require that much motivation. You have to kind of break them down until they become like so realistic that you're like, oh yeah, I can get that done a majority of the time. Now the question is, okay, what if you break it down and you get to that goal of going to the gym 3 times a week, but you haven't been able to go to the gym 1 time a week? How are you going to stay motivated to do that? You're not going to stay motivated to do that. Okay. Well, how do you create the discipline to make that happen? You can do many different things. It's going to look different for each person. But you just have to figure out, okay, within going to the gym 3 times a week, what can I make a habit? Well, for example, I know that I'm way more likely to go to the gym after work if I have my gym clothes with me. That way I don't go home. When I go home, I'm far more likely to stay there instead of go to the gym. Okay, great. So your goal for your 3 days a week, if that's when you're working out, is to pack your gym clothes with you and bring it in the car. Or maybe you say, and this is a fact, this is true too, or I should say this works for a lot of people. You could say, well, after work, even if I don't feel like it, I'm just going to drive to the gym. No plan on working out. Even though I have a scheduled workout, I'm just going to drive to the gym. I'm going to park there. I'm going to get out of my car. I'm going to walk into the gym. No intention of working out. I'm just going to walk into the gym. You create easy things to do like that. You're going to find yourself in the gym and working out, because you're going to say, well, it's silly to be here and turn around and not work out when I'm already here. So you're going to make yourself more consistent in that way. And as you start to do that, you're going to create these habits and these routines that become a part of your normal life, and that will eventually feel weird if you just didn't do them. Like right now, I have to basically intentionally schedule a week off of working out, because if I don't, it wouldn't happen otherwise. It's just an automatic thing for me to schedule my workout 3 days a week or whatever it is and go to the gym. So I'm at a point where it'd be weird if I didn't. That's the goal with you. Now, it doesn't have to be going to the gym. It doesn't have to be the workout thing. Whatever you feel like you needed to do to reach the big overarching motivational goal that you have in mind. Turn them into small daily habits, daily actionable items, behaviors and actions that you can execute, because those are in your control and those will lead to outcomes. So, we talk about process-based goals versus results-based goals or outcome-based goals. A result-based goal would be lose 20 pounds of body fat, but a process-based goal would be eat, 2 servings of leafy greens. One is completely in your control. The other one, not 100% in your control. Okay. And what I mean by that is when, eating the leafy greens, it's like you do or you don't. Whereas losing 20 pounds of body fat, you could do half the amount of work and still reach the goal. Or you could do everything you think you need to and still not reach the goal, because there's so much, there's so many underlying factors. So you have to keep that in mind. So focus on process-based goals, and the more consistent you are with those, the more the results-based goals, like losing 20 pounds of body fat, will take care of themselves and will come to fruition. So make sure you prioritize that. Now, one last thing I want to leave you with here is making sure that when you are creating that big overarching goal, that you understand your state of mind. Okay, I have this with a lot of people that start coaching with me. We start working together, and I say, hey Jane, hey John, whatever it is, how many days a week do you want to work out? And they're like, 5, definitely 5. I'm ready to get after it. But they have no history of working out 1 day a week or even 2 days a week on a consistent basis. And as a trainer, I know consistency is king. If they do 2 workouts without missing one for a year straight versus 5 workouts without missing one for 2 months straight, and off and on after that, it's not going to matter much. Consistency is king. So then I have to say, okay, 5 workouts. Now, is that based on, what is that based on? Is that based on what you've been doing? Is that based on how you feel, what you want to do? Do you feel that this is 100% realistic? And as they think through those things, they'll go, okay, maybe that's not super realistic. I'll do 3 days a week. And then I give them the option. That sounds great. Hey, let's do 3 days a week. And then if you're super consistent and you want to add another one, let's add another one. But there's no sense in figuring out, trying to say, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. And then you only work out 2 days a week because you don't have a history of working out consistently at all. And then what happens is you create this lie in your head where you go, well, I only got 2 workouts in this week instead of 5. So The week's basically ruined. It doesn't matter. Might as well not try to do this fitness thing because you have this fake idea, this false idea that you have to get all your workouts in for it to work. That's not the truth, but it's better to. So do what you can the most consistently over time. That's going to be the most important thing. So let's summarize all this. We have that big overarching goal, lose 20 pounds of body fat. From there, you say, what do I need to do to lose 20 pounds of body fat? What do I need to change in my lifestyle? Okay, I have this, and this. Okay, how am I going to change that? How am I going to change those things in my lifestyle? What does that look like for me? What does that look like for daily actionable step-by-step goals and habits and actions in my life? Okay, I'm going to execute these things on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to execute these things on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it might be, or I'm going to execute these things every single day, and you have a little checklist. You do them. You either do or you don't. Okay, so you do them, and you know that if you do them on a consistent basis, they will more than likely lead to the result that you wanted in losing 20 pounds of body fat, especially when you create those items, those actionable items that are so simple that they can easily turn into habits. If you do something that is super big, it's not going to turn into a habit. Like if we look at, I don't know if it was an actual study, but I think it was. But if we look at, habit building, people who are flossing their teeth, if I ask someone that has never flossed their teeth before, hey, I need you to start flossing your teeth every single night for the next 3 months, they're going to be like, okay, sounds great, would love to. And then they're not going to do it, okay? Because it's not a habit for them. Whereas if I say, hey, you haven't been flossing, totally fine. How about 3 times this week you floss one tooth? It's like, oh, that's easy. That's not hard. So they start doing it. They did this with people. And so they start doing it. And then they find themselves flossing the next tooth and the next tooth and the next tooth. And then before you know it, I even did this with myself. Before you know it, it would be weird for them to go to bed without flossing their teeth because it's a part of a routine. Just like the way it would be if you were like, man, it feels weird to come straight home from work. That doesn't feel right. Yeah, because you usually go to the gym. You get the point. So I hope this has helped in some way. Make sure you pursue that discipline in those actions and behaviors over motivation. Again, motivation is fine. Just don't rely on it. If you know someone that can benefit from this episode, spread the love, share it with them. Let them know that this is where they can go to get all of their health, fitness, and nutrition questions answered. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it is over already. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening to the Poecast. Hey, listen in. If you have a health and fitness goal that you are trying to reach, I don't know what else to say other than to say it must be a match made in heaven. If you didn't know already, Pullman Fitness exists to transform the body, mind, and spirit through personal coaching and sustainable fitness plans for any stage of life. So, if you want to reach your goals, build sustainability, and enjoy life all at the same time, you guys got to check out Premier Coaching at Pullman Fitness. From custom-tailored programming to 24/7 access to your personal coach, you'll have everything that you need to succeed. You guys can find out a lot more about Premier Coaching as well as our membership program at pullmanfitness.com. Hey, if you enjoyed the show, share the love by leaving a 5-star review and introducing the Poecast to your friends and family. As always, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, this is the Poecast.